Hey everyone, if you have been following my readings, I hope you've been enjoying the story so far. Today, I'm going to be doing chapter 7 of Shallow Seeds from my crime anthology, Lifestar Corners. Shallow Seeds is the first story. If you want to, you can always go back to the other videos and listen to chapters 1 through 6, and then come back here and listen to chapter 7. Or you can start here. It's up to you. So, let's begin. Chapter 7. When Calvin got back to the apartment, he locked the door and got to work on the lockbox. It was secured with a simple lock that required a key. 2 paper clips made quick work of that single barrier to the mysterious contents inside. Calvin opened the lockbox and discovered bundles of cash wrapped neatly in rubber bands, all of them with Benjamin Franklin's beautiful face on them. There were 6 of them in total, each stack containing 10 grand. And just like that, Calvin had made $60,000. More than enough to get that piece of shit cop off his back and maybe take a vacation with Roger for a while. His near brush with death left him with a new lease on life. Did he really want to spend all of his time scraping just to support his worsening drug habit? Why not have some fun as well? Some actual fun. Actually go out and try new things instead of just hanging out with the same shrinking circle of friends, getting high and stealing. But first things first, he had to wait until morning for Whitson to come pick up his money. He checked the time and it said 2:30 a.m. That gave him maybe a few hours of sleep. Not knowing when the asshole would grace Calvin's home with his presence, Calvin took advantage of the opportunity, tucked the lockbox under the couch, and made his way to the bedroom where Roger was peacefully snoring. He lovingly looked at his boyfriend, the only stable thing in his life. Maybe they weren't perfect, maybe their families hated him, but they were each other's family, and that was enough. Calvin awoke to a knock at the door. He looked at the window and saw the sun just starting to rise behind the horizon. The knocking on the door got louder until it was a pounding. Calvin jumped out of the bed as Roger began to stir. He ran out of the bedroom and to the door, looking into the peephole to see Whitson staring at the door with an agitated look. He was wearing regular civilian clothes with a hoodie and some jeans. Calvin unlocked the door and opened it. "About goddamn time," Whitson exclaimed. "I'll wake you up or something?" "As a matter of fact, yeah," Calvin grumbled, rubbing his eyes. Whitson feigned like he was disappointed with himself. "Damn. Guess I'll have to live with that one." Calvin could have punched him square in the mouth, but he just wanted to get it over with. "I've got your money." "Glad to hear it. Where is it?" Calvin jerked his thumb back behind him. "I got it in here. Hold on." Just as he was about to close the door, Whitson caught it and held it open. "How about I come in there with you? I could use some coffee." Why can't this asshole make things simple? Calvin thought. 2 minutes later, he was making a pot of coffee while Whitson sat in one of the living room recliners watching TV. He was getting off on having so much power over somebody. Whitson had a smug expression on his face, like he could do whatever he wanted. "Don't you have to go in today?" Calvin asked, hoping he would take the hint. "Day off," Whitson replied. "Why, you want me to leave?" He started to laugh. "It's fine." It wasn't fine. "How do you like your coffee?" "Black." A ping sound broke the tension for a minute. Calvin and Whitson both started to reach into their pockets to check their phones. Calvin, retrieving his first and seeing an alert that he had a text message, told Whitson that it was his phone. Whitson relaxed again while Calvin checked his phone. What he saw almost made him throw up. "I know it was you, cocksucker, and I know where you fucking live. I'm coming back to get what's mine, and more." The text came from Simon. He must have figured out that Calvin was the one who ripped him off. Simon was an asshole, but he was a dangerous asshole. If anyone suspected him of being soft because he lived in a suburban area or looked like a math teacher, they were sorely mistaken. Simon was a killer, through and through, and now he was coming for Calvin. Calvin could feel panic threaten to break his outer reserved expression. If he caught Whitson staring at him, so he caught himself. "Bad news?" Whitson asked out of pure curiosity. "It's nothing," Calvin reassured him. "Good, now give me the coffee to go and the money and I'll leave. After all, I've better things to do than hang around this shithole all day." Calvin walked over and handed Whitson the mug of coffee while restraining himself from throwing the damn beverage in his face. Just as Whitson took a sip and nodded appreciatively, the bedroom door opened and Roger came out wearing pajama bottoms with no shirt. When he saw Whitson sitting on the chair, they both exchanged a look of this. "Calvin, who's this?" Roger asked. "Just a friend," Calvin answered quickly. "A friend who was just about to leave." "Damn, dude," Whitson exclaimed with a smile. "I didn't figure you played for the other team." "Whatever," Calvin snapped. "You want the money or no?" "What money?" Roger inquired. "Calvin, what's going on?" "We'll talk about it later, Roger." Whitson laughed. "Reminds me of my own home," He turned to Calvin. Something you and I have in common. Our girlfriends always asking questions and can't keep their mouths shut. Fuck you! Roger shouted. He started to step to Whitson when Calvin jumped in between them, facing Roger. He's a cop. What? That's right, Whitson confirmed. So watch yourself or I have this dump swatted. God knows what they might find here. Sensing that the situation would keep going south unless he did something, Calvin ran to the couch and pulled out the lockbox that was still hidden underneath. Before Roger could say anything, Calvin held up a finger and then proceeded to open the top. He held it at chest level, hoping Whitson didn't see how much money was actually inside. Grabbing one whole stack, he tossed it into Whitson's lap. That's 10 grand, Calvin stated. Now please, just leave. Whitson looked down at the stack of bills resting on top of him. He took the money in one hand and flipped through the bills with the other. When he was satisfied, he slid the cash into his pocket. Standing up, he said, Well, fairies, it was a pleasure, but I've got a date to get ready for. You assholes just bought me a 5-star meal and some good pussy later. He smirked. But you wouldn't know what that's like. By the way, Calvin, consider this a warning. Ease off the gas. Whitson left while whistling a nameless tune, content that he was now $10,000 richer. Roger glared at Calvin like he just caught him cheating. The cop was gone, but the tension lingered. Care to explain? Roger asked sternly. Calvin asked Roger to sit down. He went over the events of the previous day. The whole time, Roger just sat and said nothing. Didn't even change his somewhat neutral facial expression until Calvin was finished. The only part he left out was Simon's threatening text message. After Calvin was done, Roger said, You can't keep going down the road you're on. I know we agreed that we never try to change each other, but when what we do outside of here comes knocking on our door, something has to give. Roger, Calvin exclaimed, What do you want me to do? I've been out there in those streets for a long time. I have a habit, no work experience since high school. Who's going to hire me now? Roger yelled, That's no excuse. What about that damn app you've been using? Why can't you do that? Which scumbag is going to come knocking on our door next? This is our home, Calvin. Calvin kicked one of the recliners over. One little fucking problem, and now I have to completely change? He grabbed the lockbox and opened it in front of his equally enraged boyfriend. There's another 50 G's in this fucking box. That's what I made yesterday. This is ours now. We can do or go wherever we want. Roger focused on the money, but there was fear in his eyes, not excitement. Whose money is that, Calvin? What does it matter? Because I know you didn't just find this money on the sidewalk. Calvin closed the box and took a breath to calm himself. Roger was right. This was a problem that would not go away on its own, so there was no point ignoring it. Okay, he conceded. I found this money in the house of a very well-off drug dealer. Roger crossed his arms. Which one? One I probably shouldn't have ripped off. A tear came down Calvin's cheek. He found out it was me, Roger, but I won't put you in danger. I'll take care of this. No, you won't, Roger responded, wiping the tear away. We can go to the police. Calvin nodded toward the door. That was the police. Who knows who the man I ripped off has bought in the police department. No, I'd take care of this myself. He went to the bathroom and took a shower before dressing and grabbing his phone, keys, and wallet. The whole time he was getting ready, Roger did not disturb him. When Calvin left the bedroom, Roger sat on the couch and said nothing. The chair that had been kicked over was still lying on his back. Roger didn't even look at Calvin as he proceeded to the door, picking up the lockbox in the process. So I take it you're not coming back? Roger said, trying to control his voice. I don't know, Calvin replied honestly. He didn't look at Roger, but he heard him get up from the couch. A second later, he felt a hand on his shoulder. Calvin turned and Roger embraced him. He rested his head on Roger's shoulder. I love you, Roger said. If I don't get another chance to say it, I want to say it now. I love you too, Calvin said back. Then he pulled away from Roger's arms and left the apartment, wondering if it truly was the last time he would see him again. This concludes the reading of Chapter 7 from Shallow Seeds of my book, Lifestar Corners. If you would like to purchase a copy for yourself, they're available on Amazon for Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and paperback. If you would like a signed copy, you can go onto my website, jamesmichaelsbooks.com. My personal email's on there. You can also sign up for my email subscription so you can get updated on any new books, deals, events, content, things of that nature. Have a good day.